I have no idea how this looks, but we're just gonna go with it. Hey friends, it's Tess. This is Wander Wealthy. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Here we talk all things money, personal finance, and travel. Now, for those of you who have kept up with me outside of YouTube, you'll know that my summer has been a little bit crazy with travel. I've been traveling a ton lately, which has been awesome, but I also haven't had a lot of time to do some of the other things that I love to do, but just realizing I don't really have time to do that. And to give you an idea, over the course of 2 months' time, I will have visited 8 different countries, sometimes more than once. So it's been a lot. I don't think I've gone a week without hopping on an airplane. So I'm ready to keep my feet on the ground and stay in Milan and reset. And that's what this video is gonna be all about. So if you can resonate with that, but more likely can resonate with just the fact that summer is always crazy. You're either spending too much, eating too much, doing too much, whatever it is, but you're just not focusing on being productive and you want to, get your ducks in a row before year end, then this will be the perfect video for you. So the first thing that I am doing to get my life back on track is to actually simplify my morning routine and build out better habits. If you're like me, then you probably watch tons of YouTube videos of other people and what sort of morning routines they have. I like to do this, whether it's watching YouTube videos or listening to podcasts or reading blog posts of people that I almost aspire to be, and I want to copy their morning routines so that I can be successful like them. Now that's all fine and dandy, but I find myself adding more and more and more things that I want to do in my morning routine, and I even recorded a morning routine video probably almost a year ago now. I'll link it up here. And I went through a ton of things that I was doing in my morning routine. Now that was a time where I had a little bit more time on my hands and things were just less crazy. And I hadn't been opened up to the idea that you don't necessarily have to do these very specific things in order to feel like your life is in order. I was almost getting overwhelmed with all of the things I felt that I needed to do, just sometimes to tick the boxes and get into my day. And then a lot of times I just would not do any of it, but then I would feel bad for not doing it. So I came to the conclusion, and actually through the help of my boyfriend, who has been getting even more into the type of personal development that I like together, he had encouraged that we do a more simplified morning routine and start with that, build out these habits, and then from there we can start adding on. We've come up with 4 things that we know are going to make us feel the most productive, the most energized, and the most put together as we go forward in every day, every week, and every month, that we'll do in the morning, but also, pay attention to throughout the rest of the day. We have those 4 things on sticky notes in our kitchen, and we're implementing those every single day, and it makes it easy because it's a simplified morning routine. It's 4 things that we have to do, and that is it. We don't worry about anything else, and if we do know of something we want to add, then we have to wait until we've built out this habit, which in general it takes 21 days to build a habit, so we're on a 21-day time scale before we can add another thing that we want to do. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the actual things that we do. If you're interested in what our morning routine is, then please comment below and just say morning routine, or please share or whatever, so that I know that you want to see that video. The main thing is just, if you want a morning routine but you feel overwhelmed by all these options, figure out what the 4 things you can do, or even 3 or 5, those very few things that are going to make you feel like your life is getting back on track. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, that is the first thing I'm doing to get my life back on track. The second thing is actually a financial thing, and that is actually made up of 2 parts. First, I do every single quarter, so it's the perfect time to discuss this and share review of where I stand with my finances. I always suggest this to people because no, you don't need to check your investments, check your bank accounts, check your even budget every single month or every single week, but it is important to know where you stand financially about once a quarter. So the first of the quarter, starting in October, which is going to happen in a couple weeks, it's the perfect time to sit down and go, okay, where do I stand with my net worth? What does my credit score look like? Should I pull my credit report? Looking at your stuff on a quarterly basis can really help you stay in tune with where you are at financially. It's really important that you do so, and I think it's not only good for the numbers, it's also just good for you as a person to know where you're at. Now, the second part of this whole financial life in order section is to actually get back on a budget. So I've shared in my podcast many a times that I don't personally stick to a budget all the time. I think that budgets are really great tools to use to help you make sure that you're meeting your financial goals, especially if you have a financial goal you need to achieve and you need to make sure you're achieving within the next month or 2 months or 3 months. However, if your life is fairly predictable and things are pretty on pace with where you want them to be, then budgeting down to the very nickel and dime isn't necessary. With that said, I still think budgeting is really important, and especially after a time where your finances may have changed or things maybe didn't go as planned, that's a perfect time to relook at your budget and commit to a new budget schedule. So for me, after moving to Italy, my costs have gone way down, but then doing so much travel, my costs have kind of gone up. So now they're in a place where I'm like, maybe I should check this. So that's why I'm going to be committing to a budgeting method. And my very favorite is the anti-budget. If you're not new to this channel, then you'll know all about it, but I will link the free training that I have to teach you how to anti-budget and how to implement it into your life down below. So I'll be using the anti-budget. I'm recalculating my numbers. I'm gonna figure out what my new daily spending number is, and I'll be sticking to that over the next probably 2, maybe 3 months. All right, the third thing that I am sort of implementing in order to get my life back on track is actually to take the pressure off of feeling the need to do it all. If you feel this pressure to constantly commit to every single goal, even every single passion that you have, then likely you're just gonna feel overwhelmed and overstressed to do it all. And then you're not actually gonna have any time to commit to any of these things. It's the idea that if you try to do everything, you'll almost end up doing nothing because you'll be spread so thin. This is something that I've really struggled with since I actually moved to Italy, and now I am taking Italian language classes. I'm trying to work a full-time job within a shorter amount of time. I'm trying to maintain a workout regimen, maintain my passion for being nutritious and making my own meals, and I'm also spending a lot of time traveling, meeting up with family and friends, and committing to the relationships aspect of my life. Now, if you know someone that can balance this all while achieving all of their goals, then kudos to you and to them. I've realized that there's not really such thing as balance, and I've actually learned this through one of my good friends' online programs. Her name is Natalie Bacon, and she has the Design Your Dream Life Academy. She let me in to take the course and learn from it and grow from it, and that I have absolutely done. One of the things she shares is that there's not really this idea of balance. If we want to achieve goals, we need to get away from thinking we can do it all. It's really more important to pick that one goal and then recognize that some things are going to give. So for me, the past 2.5 months have really been dedicated to relationships, traveling and meeting other people and building relationships or building on my relationships with my family and my new friends. Because we only have a finite amount of time in our days, weeks, and months, that means that something had to give for me. So being willing to accept the fact that there's not really such thing as balance, and accepting this other idea that life is lived in seasons has really brought me a lot of peace. And right now my season is really focused on relationships and travel, and that's something that I have committed to, and I had committed to in the past year while I've been planning all of these trips, and I just now need to accept and know that whatever I wanted to accomplish that I didn't get to right now during this season, I'll be able to accomplish in the next season. So that next season obviously for me is starting in October when all of my travel is done, but I need to still keep in mind that there's no such thing as true balance. So I need to figure out, okay, what is my new focus and how am I going to go about implementing all of the actions that I need in order to achieve my goals from there. Now, this has really helped take the pressure off of me of feeling like I need to do it all. So if in any way this resonates with you or this can help you, I think it's really important as we go in to this next season, especially if you're trying to figure out like how to get my life back in order. You don't have to do it all, but figure out what that one thing is and drive forward. If you guys are interested in checking out Natalie's online program, the Design Your Dream Life Academy, then I will link my affiliate link down below, or you can go to wanderwealthy.com wonderwellthy.com/dreamlife, all one word. She just gives me a little kickback for referring you, and it's at no additional cost to you. All right, the fourth thing that I'm doing to get my life back on track is to plan out my results. This is also something I took from Natalie's Design Your Dream Life Academy. I'm telling you, if you want time management, productivity, mindset, goal setting, habits, if you want to shift those areas of your life and start designing your dream life, it's a good program. It's great. Anyway, the other thing that I learned from Natalie is to start planning out your results. So the big mistake that we often make as humans trying to accomplish any goal is we aren't really good at planning out what we're going to do in order to achieve the goal. When we set a goal, we need to set the goal, set a timeline, and then work backwards. And what are the very, very specific, in detailed action items you need to do in order to achieve that goal? On top of that though, when we plan to take action, we often say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, instead of planning out the result that you need to have by the time you're done going to the gym. So instead of I'm gonna go to the gym, it's I'm gonna do X, Y, Z in 30 minutes, time myself, and track my progress. Another example would be, let's say that you are going to start a blog. Well, what is it that you actually need to do in order to start the blog? And what is it that you need to work on? Plan out what you're going to be doing, but also the results you're going to get from doing that thing, because by planning out your results, by understanding what you need to achieve, that's going to help you actually hold yourself accountable. Otherwise, it's a lot easier to move that to next week and to the next week and to the next week, instead of giving yourself a deadline that is, I need 3 blog posts done by Friday. So this is something I absolutely will be implementing as I go into the last quarter of 2018 and start focusing on the new season of my life, which is definitely going to be more dedicated to creating better products and services through the Wander Wealthy platform. I'll be hunkering down, planning out the end goal, and then planning out the mini results I need to achieve within that timeline. And that's how I'm going to make sure that I actually get my life on track, but also achieve the goals that I set out for myself. And those are the 4 things I'm going to be doing and implementing and sticking to starting in October when I'm finally done with all of my travel, in order to get my life back on track. And if you think that implementing any of these or all of these will help you, then I encourage you to join me for this fun ride. Everything that I mentioned in this video you can find in the description box below. I'd love for you to come back, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video so I know to make more. And until next time, I hope you wander wealthy.